We've just come back from commercial break, and we're going to plug back in over here.
Enforcement, NBC4's Julie Carey is with us. Hey, Julie. Hey, good morning. Governor, I want to follow up on this and drill down a little bit more on what the
of ICE enforcement means. So we've certainly seen that what they're doing now is making what some refer to as collateral arrest. They go to, you refer to it, they go to an apartment, they're looking for somebody, he's not there, but they start asking questions of the others and realize that they may be undocumented, may have minor crimes. However, I hear from people who are supporters of President Trump that that's exactly what they want to see. And they point to a recent case in Northern Virginia in which a 15-year-old girl was found murdered by gang members, some of whom were in this country illegally. So do you have a problem with that new enforcement procedure of picking up people who maybe don't necessarily have a criminal record or maybe have minor crimes on the record?
Well, it's a good question, Julie, and I should reference that Julie's the one who broke the initial story on NBC4 at the Hypothermia Center, which has gotten all of this going. Listen, my number one concern is to keep our communities safe. But Julie, you know as well as anybody, what is the standard? Are we just randomly going to stop people on the street? If you've committed a crime, sure, let's go ahead and get them arrested. But we have a due process of how we have done this going back to the start of our country. Are we now all of a sudden changing that standard? So you're walking down the street, Julie, all of a sudden they stop you and ask you questions. Probably highly unlikely. However, certain ethnicity, they're going to do that. And that's the fine line. We want to stop anyone. We want to keep our community safe. If someone's committed a crime, we want to go get them. But, you know, we've done this for years. We have a procedure. And law enforcement should go out, and we need to focus on catching criminals and stopping crimes and all that. Couldn't support that more. I am just very concerned, and a lot of us are concerned about the chilling effect of random stops, and this is not what our country has been founded upon. In order to stop and question someone historically in our nation, there has to be probable cause. Not just because they look like they're Hispanic and they could be an illegal alien. It's just not the enforcement that we should be doing in this country.
But do you have an objection to ICE's ability now to pick up people who've committed minor crimes once they get into an apartment, let's say? Not talking about out on the street approaches, but in the apartment, they found out they're wanted for a minor crime or have committed a minor crime in the past.
The issue will be, as we say, they go in looking for something and they don't find the individual they're looking for, and then they start asking other questions, and they go arrest those people. If they find someone, listen, if an ICE official finds someone who has committed a crime, rightfully so, they should arrest that individual. But we have to be vigilant to the point that how far are we going and allowing people to be randomly stopped. That's the whole question.
Governor, you know, for much of the Obama years, a number of local communities, most notably officials in Prince William County in our region, have complained that under the previous administration, federal immigration officials were not doing enough to crack down and deport illegal immigrants, particularly those who had committed crimes. They particularly were critical of this catch and release policy. They say dealing with the ongoing problem has affected local resources, from law enforcement to schools. So if you're not in favor of what's happening now, what should be done to address this?
Well, and Prince William, as you know, has paid a price on that economically. They were the only community we had in Virginia. As you know, there have been a lot of protests that had gone on because of the actions they had taken there. Listen, I work every single day to make for sure that Virginia is open, welcoming, great place to raise your family, great place to do business. The results speak for themselves. That's, Mark, what we want at the end of the day. I go back to the point I made earlier. The reason we're in this situation today is the benign neglect from the United States Congress, who has failed to come up with an immigration policy. They failed to secure our borders for many years. We need to secure our borders. There's no question about it. But this has been years and years of benign neglect on the issue. Now we're having to deal with this situation. But we got to make sure we're not trampling on the rights established in our Constitution to make us the great beacon of democracy that we're. That's the simple point. But we all want to make sure if there's someone in here who shouldn't be here, they shouldn't be here. We should get them out of the country. They're coming in here and committed crimes. But, you know, we do have a lot of families here who are working. They're vibrant parts of the community, add to our economy, work in many jobs that, you know, many employers are having a difficult time, especially in the agriculture sector, of finding people, you know, who can fill these jobs.
Quick 30-second answer here, because we got a break for traffic and weather. But there was a bill that passed in the General Assembly this year to require local law enforcement to hold illegal
immigrants until the feds take official custody. We've read that you plan to veto.
We're going to veto
bill.
that. Let me
Why?
be very clear.
Why?
Local law enforcement are busy doing their jobs to keep their communities safe. They are not federal ICE officials, nor are we going to turn our local and sheriffs and other folks involved in law enforcement into ICE officials. And I have the support of the sheriffs and others who have weighed in very heavily on this. ICE officials can do their job. We are not turning local law enforcement into ICE officials. They're busy doing what they need to be doing in their communities. That's what they're trained for, and that's what they're going to do.
This is Ask the Governor on WTOP. Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe with us. Phone lines are jammed. Be patient if you're calling in. Here is the number, 877-336-1035.